It's Monday, so that means The Oval is brand new with hot topics, entertainment news, and a special guest. With a table of diverse, young, SUNY Oneonta students, The Oval always brings you controversial perspectives. Get ready to hear Oval opinions from our hosts, Marleny Ramirez, Terrell Rose, Sean Miller, Bhanu Gaur, Ruth Benitez, and Asia Garris.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to The Oval. We have a great show planned for you all tonight. Our hot topic discussion will focus on the Waffle House shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, Syracuse University and the expulsion of a fraternity, and Eric Greitens, a Missouri governor, being charged with yet another felony. Joining us in our hot topics discussion, we have Andrew Bottomley, a communication studies professor here at SUNY Oneonta. And stay tuned for a very exciting goat yoga session later on. So let's get started. So, the Waffle House shooting. A man, naked man was the headline that I saw, walks into a Waffle House with an AR-15 and shoots the people that were dining.
Supposedly, he had firearm possession last year. He was arrested supposedly for trespassing. He was creeping around the White House property last year, and the charges were apparently released in that instance after he completed community service. So whatever. The fact that he was also invading the White House property, that's a little suspect. If it was someone else,
so yeah, he has something on his record already. Yeah.
Yeah, and then supposedly, so he wasn't allowed to possess firearms to begin with, but his father supposedly was the one that gave him the weapons again. So if anything, his father could face criminal charges because he's responsible for transferring these firearms to someone who was prohibited to even be in possession of them. So that's a big red flag if you think about it. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I know a month after that White House incident, he also barged into a public pool, flashed the lifeguards, and was wearing a woman's pink coat. Who cares about the coat? But he clearly has had a lot of encounters with the police, and no one did anything to try to prevent this from happening. But that's not the only issue. There's so many others, like what the media is saying about him. They're talking about how he was unstable, right? How there's obviously something wrong with him, but there's obviously something wrong with everyone who is a shooter.
No, wait, hold on. I never defend those guys, but this guy, I might.
I mean, I agree too. I think he's messed up in the head.
I'm not saying he's not messed up. Obviously he is, but I think that's not the only time we should talk about mental illness.
This is the only time we talk about mental illness is when something like this happens and the person happens to be white.
Exactly.
When it's a black individual, they don't talk about mental illness. Mm-hmm. They talk about how he's a delinquent. He's,
They even let him hide out in the woods for 24 hours. Why? Why would...
I mean, I don't think they let him hide out. He probably just, for whatever reason, I think law enforcement should have captured him sooner, but they did capture him, and now he's under custody.
Yeah,
but it took a lot longer.
36 hours. It took 36 hours.
Why would it take 36 hours to capture this man? And again, like in any other instance, would it have been the same?
You're right. Maybe it wouldn't be the same, but are you law enforcement? Do you know how long it takes to capture somebody?
The point is that they approached it differently. They would have approached it differently if he was probably a person of color. But
he wasn't armed though, so we know that
they suspected that he still had a gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the person that was in the Waffle House, somebody actually tackled him and took away the gun. And a lot of people deemed him as a hero in all of this. And I think in the Sutherland church, do you remember the person who stopped him also had a gun? So there was that discussion of he was a hero because he also had a gun, but this guy...
It's just he's doing his duty. This is what he's supposed to do. If my life is in danger and I feel like there's an opportunity to stop that, I'm going to take the opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you. We have to take a short break, but we will be right back.
Welcome back to The Oval. I'm Megan, and we are here with New York Goats Yoga. So this is so cool. I'm so excited for this. We have Rizzo. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Sharon, the owner of New York Goat Yoga.
I'm Olivia. I'm the daughter of Sharon.
And my name is Vanessa, and I teach New York Goat Yoga.
And our special guest, Rizzo, the 4-week-old goat. Yay. So she is adorable. She's stolen all of our hearts already. But I wanted to ask you guys about the company. So obviously goat yoga has become such a popular thing, but tell me more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So we started New York Goat Yoga last year in 2016. We operate, our property is a wedding venue. So we operate a wedding venue on our property. It's Gouboth Farmhouse, and we specialize in weekend weddings. And we are a family that we used to live in Queens. So we're a New York City family who moved to the farm 2 years ago. And we had operated the business for 3 years, commuting back and forth every weekend. So yeah, tell me about it.
Long commute.
So once we officially moved, you know, of course we wanted to explore more of the farm life and get into having pets. So we started with chickens and turkeys and then quickly progressed and got some goats.
Oh my God.
And we instantly fell in love with them. I mean,
I imagine I am already in love.
Yeah, they're amazing animals.
Look at her. Oh, I love it.
So we didn't start with the idea of goat yoga. We had the goats, and then for a few years, and then we fell in love with them in general as an animal, as a pet. Mm-hmm. And last year we got Nigerian dwarf goats, which Rizzo is a Nigerian dwarf. So they're smaller than regular goats. And it was just an instant. I mean, I had seen goat yoga. The farm that inspired me was who I believe originally started a farm in Oregon. And I thought the idea was amazing because once you get to know goats, you know that it's just
perfect for it.
They are perfect for it. Earlier. Exactly. It's just what they tend to do. They love to climb, so it's just perfect. It's a perfect match. And once we got the Nigerian dwarfs, it was just an instant, like, we're doing this.
Everything fell into place.
It just fell into place, yeah.
So what do you guys see for goat yoga in the future? Do you see expansion?
Right now, I just want to expand, bring goat yoga to more people. It's so new, and a lot of people, in my mind, I feel like everyone knows about it, but there are a lot of people who don't. And I think that's what we're doing right now, and we're having so much fun with it, is just bringing it to the awareness to everybody, introducing it to people who've never done it. And watching them fall in love with it like we did.
That's so amazing. Well, I am so excited to participate, but we are now back to the Oval. Thanks so much.
We're back and we're ready to talk about Syracuse University and the expulsion of a fraternity. So the fraternity Theta Tau, is that the name of it?
Theta Tau, yeah.
Yes.
It's an engineering fraternity.
Engineering fraternity. I don't care what it is, but they were racist. They were homophobic, and of 2 videos were actually
and anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Anti-Semitic too.
Yeah. Sexist.
Sexist. Whole lot of things we saw in the video. Everyone saw the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Greek organizations. That's a very controversial, area because in a lot of college campuses they exist and they're very prominent. They do activities throughout the whole entire campus. So where do we draw the line where we're like, yeah, we like Greek organizations because of all the hospitable things that they do and everything, or they're just partying and being ridiculous?
Go ahead.
I mean, drawing the line though, we all have our ups and downs of Greek life, but these people are just a bunch of a-holes. It doesn't have anything to do with the organization.
Yeah, but that's behind closed doors.
But you can't act like it's an isolated incident.
I'm not saying it is, but those people are they really have horrible minds because the fact that they said all those things, they were talking so many racial slurs, anti-Semitic, they were racist. That shouldn't be allowed anywhere, especially at such an esteemed university like Syracuse. They were suspended right away, which I think was the right action. There should 100%, be further action taken.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying, like Greek, it brings the question back to Greek life, how it's not an isolated incident, you're right. But also the fact it is like these people shouldn't have been able to join any kind of organization to begin with. So Greek life definitely needs to be re-examined about its process because that's horrible.
The thing is, nobody's wearing a poster, a sign on their face saying I'm racist, I'm sexist. All of these, that video was taken in the privacy of whatever frat house that they were in. So you don't know that. How would you be able to identify a person and say don't let that person into an organization? He's a racist.
Yeah. You know, but it starts from whoever's leading. Who's the leader on that campus? Who's the president on that campus? Because in any pledge process, you are to be interviewed. You're going to have extensive interview processes. And even though some things you may not see, but you attract the same people. So it starts from them. It starts from the people who came before him. So it's not always the frat itself. It's just that one individual bringing in other people who are like the same, who have the same mindset. Mm-hmm. So it's we got to focus more on the individual instead of the entire fraternity, because there may be other brothers who are totally opposed from what they're doing. So we can't blame all of them. we just blame that chapter itself.
I agree.
You know?
That should anyone who has those kind of views, those are horrible views toward your fellow humans. Like person shouldn't like how they expose what happened. At least it was exposed, because then it possibly could have been going on for longer. Like I think if anything like that should happen, any person a part of the fraternity, even if they're a part of it, they should expose the fact that their brothers are saying these horrible things, because that's not right.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be addressed at the root, not just after
Agreed.
something like this is exposed. Like people should be aware that they shouldn't be saying racial slurs about anybody. They shouldn't be making sexist comments. They shouldn't do anything of that matter, because you're just supposed to be a decent human being and know not to. Not like be scared to do it once you have to face consequences.
These are systemic problems, right? And they go deeper though than just fraternities and sororities. Of course, there's deeper social, issues here around racism and sexism. But there are certainly patterns, though, as much as we can point fingers at individuals acting badly. There seems to be a pattern of these kinds of incidents happening within fraternities, in particular, that warrants this conversation.
Yeah. So, as a solution to this, because we do see a pattern, we see a trend, so I feel personally as there should be like some kind of counseling, or not counseling, but just a session held for people that want to join.
Well, like you said there's a long process in meeting with the president of, with the university and stuff, and so maybe there's an idea to reintroduce that later on, to maybe like check up, like see, hey, is this still what you're
and
good with?
One thing that could be implemented is sensitivity training, and we do that at my job just to ensure that everybody knows where everyone comes from. And there's some things that you can't say. You can't.
Even Starbucks do that.
No, I agree with that, but unfortunately we have to take another quick break, and we will be right back.
Welcome back to the Green Room. I'm Megan, and here we are with New York Goat Yoga and Rizzo the Goat. So what do you guys think about the goats? Do they actually like goat yoga?
Yeah, it's very therapeutic for both the goats and the people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How can you tell? Because we had so many forums, and you guys obviously take very good care of the goats, which I'm so happy to hear. But how do you see a difference after a yoga session?
Yeah, their tails start wagging. They get so excited. The hairs on their spine goes up too, because they're really excited just to be around people. And
oh my gosh.
they love the affection.
Really? That's so crazy. You said earlier they kind of remind you of puppies. Tell me about that.
Yeah, they're just so affectionate. This is what they love to do. They just love to be, pet by people and giving kisses and cuddling. They really enjoy it. And we do try, like on our farm, a big deal for us is to make sure that
they have their happiest lives.
Right, that make sure they have their happiest lives. And so we don't want to overtire them. We'll only do like one session. We try to rotate the goats, so we don't do, we don't want them to be like a circus. You know what I mean? Like we want them to be happy and to enjoy what they're doing, not to feel like it's a job. So they'll go into one session. We only do a limited amount of sessions. We do one a week on our farm, because I just think it's not, it's a business, but it's also something that we're doing for the love of it, and I don't want one thing to overtake the other.
I think that's amazing that you guys are doing that. Now, what do the goats do in their free time?
Well, they stay outside and they play outside. They have stumps that they like to jump on, so it's basically like their free time, and they play around basically all day.
Oh my gosh.
And so they hang out with each other. They're all together and they play with each other. And you should see it.
Dogs too.
Oh yeah, they play with the dogs.
Wow. Do they have a favorite food?
I'm trying to think. Oh,
Animal crackers.
Animal crackers, get out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite fun fact of the day. And with that, we are heading back to the Oval.
We're back, and we're ready to talk about the Missouri governor, Eric Greitens, who was convicted of yet another felony.
Surprise.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
So what are the exact details of what he was convicted of?
He was convicted because he hacked computer data, right? He got a donor list and lied about receiving any donations for them for his campaign, even though he received something like $2 million from them, right?
He earned $2 million
Which
from
is
this.
Crazy.
And he denied it at first, but then admitted it, and he I don't know if he admitted, but he agreed to pay like $100,000.
Yeah, a fine.
Yeah, a fine, but still.
But that's nothing compared to the $2 million he received.
And there's a bigger issue
Yeah.
at hand, which is this is a reoccurring thing with elected officials. We elect these people into office. They continuously do bad things. We find out about it, and what's done about it?
But wait, was he actually proven to do all that?
Well, why would you agree to
'Cause
pay a
it's-
fine if you didn't do something?
Well, there was an article just reading where it didn't say he was actually convicted. He's
charged.
He's being charged with it. He wasn't convicted. That means he was guilty, and he was charged with it, and that he denied it supposedly.
Yeah.
So this isn't like 100% said and done. Maybe he's paying a fine because first comes. The main thing is that regardless, he's just looking out for his political career, as any politician would. So that's maybe why he's doing the certain motions forward as if paying a fine.
And then so let's say, hypothetically speaking, this is false, he didn't do any of this. Just 2 months ago, he was accused of sexual misconduct and taking pictures of a woman. What did he call it? An extramarital affair.
Yeah.
First of all,
very sweet way of putting it, very nice, delicate way of putting it. That's so gracious of him to put it that way.
I know.
Which he admitted to the affair, right?
Yeah.
But then there was issues of blackmail and abuse tied to that, yeah.
Exactly.
So, in any case, do we remember when, let's take it back, when President Obama wore that tan suit, how much of a bad idea it was? Everyone was like bringing him down. Why aren't we doing the same thing to this guy? An extramarital affair. You are an elected official. People look up to you, and you're going to do something like that, and we're not doing a single thing about it. So what are we going to do about it? What do you think we should do as Americans? What do you think we should do?
Yeah, so the issue of the affair, it's one thing, I mean, people mess up, right? It is a little bit more problematic when you're talking about a conservative here and it's part of their political agenda. They're going to push these sort of like marriage between a man and a woman. It's a sanctimonious thing. But maybe the more recent charges to me are a little more concerning because they do tie more directly in terms of ethics of the office. Right, and we do need to hold politicians to a higher standard. They're the ones making the laws. They need to be the ones obeying the laws, serving as models, and we need to have trust in our public officials.
But who put him in office?
Yeah,
You
the
know?
voters. Camera one, hold on, get on me. The voters put him on. He probably went through an idea of campaigning, so he had signs, he had posters, he went to people's houses, he talked about himself, he got money from people, he did have a donors list. So let's say he gathered all this money and then he became, what, senator, governor? Whatever he became. Why? After all of that, and then it's coming out now, oh, he's also money laundering. That's a little thing, that's, unfortunate. Why? Why do we keep having these goofy people in office as elected officials after, trusting them? It's like, oh, okay, this person's done their campaigning. I've looked into them maybe for 2 seconds and said, sure, I'll vote for this guy. Fantastic. We need to, and I've said this before on the show, and we should be putting more important focus on voting and making sure that we're, making our votes heard, making sure we're also researching who we're voting for. We're not just looking at somebody for face value. We're not looking at somebody who could, eventually money launder or, have a sexual assault kind of affair scandal thing. We need to be looking into these things more, and we're not.
Yeah. What does it also say about the Republican Party, Like, are they falling apart in a way, right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
I think that as of late especially, there's a lot of things happening with elected officials, and we really, really, really have to start paying more attention, really, because this generation we're controlling who we elect into office, who represents us. What they do, that speaks on our behalf. So we have to, I agree with you completely, couldn't have said it better myself, you said it before, but we have to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Oval. I'm Megan, and this is Rizzo, the dwarf pygmy goat. So we thought we'd do a fun little girl talk with Rizzo, and I have one big question for you, darling. Do you have a boyfriend? She said yeah. Oh, and she also likes hair. We've also discovered in this time that already noted she loves animal crackers, she loves to eat hair, and for her safety and my safety, her antlers or horns have been trimmed. So I think that's super, super cool. Yeah? Oh my gosh, she's telling me something. Hold up. Oh, she said she loves the Oval, and you all should come be part of our live audience every Monday at 8 p.m. in the IRC studios. And, what was it? Okay, and you gotta go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The Oval TV. Thanks so much, guys. We totally enjoyed having you with having New York Goat Yoga, and you guys are welcome back anytime. Thank you so much.
We're here with our entertainment host, Asia, bringing us our Monday Tea special, so let's hear it.
As you guys already know, royal baby number 3 was born. Kate Middleton and Prince William welcomed another baby boy. They have not released the baby's name yet, but they're already making appearances 7 hours after giving birth. I think that that's really amazing, like what Kate is doing. Like she's able to just bounce back up and get back into the limelight. Speaking of babies, Kardashians, Khloe and Tristan just welcomed their baby girl, True.
Yes.
But comes to find out the relationship did not work. Allegations.
But they're co-parenting.
Yeah, they're
right?
co-parenting, yes. But I just say that to say, do you guys think like this is another Kardashian relationship failed that results in another baby? Like, it's crazy.
All I remembered is this one. I saw a thing on Twitter which was like True Jackson VP, which was a show on Nick, and I just thought it was funny. And, like, the association of
that's the first connection
of this
I made
girl
too.
being named True, and then I was like, oh, I remember True Jackson. That show was really good.
They
That's
take
like
the strangest names, like
but True is
like
from
True and like
in
Saint
the family.
and like, you know,
it's a family name.
Stormy?
The mom's Chris. I think her great grandfather was born True or something like that.
Yeah, we're all born True, aren't we?
Well, his name was True. But
no,
that's what he got.
That video was released of Tristan Thompson like kissing that Instagram model or something, and like I felt bad for Khloe because I'm like, the girl gave birth,
That's so
like literally
stressful.
Like, give her
days
some
after
time
that
before you
video
do
was released.
She just had gave birth, and then she didn't even speak really on the cheating situation. She came out with a statement saying that like hopefully she hopes to find like peace and that you have to like love yourself first before you love somebody else. And I do understand where she's coming from because she has been hurt before with her previous marriage. So I think that I do hope she gets her happy ending. Like she finally got the child that she wanted.
I know, but she couldn't have a exactly. She had such a hard time.
And then just for her to have like this, finally have this pregnancy, and then Tristan to go cheat on her, it's like.
I think also the way the media was distributing the content, it's like they were purposely doing it back to back, and like she's going through like even so she was going through all this days before she finally had the baby. Like that must have been so stressful on her and even the child. Like that's not fair to any woman about to give birth, dealing with the stress and even like the headline grabbing stuff, like their purpose, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that must have been so hard for her.
Yeah.
I think that it was also kind of smart on Kylie's. How she took her pregnancy into hiding because look how
her point was that she didn't want to reveal her pregnancy to people because people are just mean and they do like with like celebrities and like in particular they target them and they make them feel like the worst, like so bad about themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up?
Do you have anything you want to say about the Kardashians?
I know nothing about the Kardashians, but you've made some very interesting points.
There's always drama with the Kardashians.
Yeah, they're famous for.
Yeah,
just about anything.
The bare minimum.
They're like the royal family of like the United States.
Of like drama and gossip.
That's
and scandal.
Sad.
Yeah. In other news, like over this weekend, A Boogie performed at O-Fest, and
you met him.
Yeah, everyone was like saying that he was going to be different than what he was. Like he was actually really humble and down to earth. He was really interesting. I asked him questions like, how have you evolved since releasing Artist in 2016, then most recently The Bigger Artist, and what do you want your fans to remember you by? He was just really down to earth, and he was detailed, and he wasn't like a mean person by any means. He was really cool.
Yeah. I saw the performance. I didn't think it was like amazing, but I didn't think it was awful.
I think it was exciting. It was hype. Like,
I
it was
wish
a
it were a
good
little
hip
warmer
hop
out, I
concert.
guess. Like it was like a little chillier this year, so it was just like it was harder to stand out there for a little while. So it was like otherwise.
This was my first Old Fest, and I was like kind of disappointed, honestly, because I thought that he was going to be performing way longer than what he did.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like really kind of disappointed in that. Like he performed like 5 songs.
He was late.
Yeah, it was
but
a 50-minute set.
Yeah. Overall, I liked it.
Yeah. It was
I had a
fine.
good time.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
7.5. Let's be in the middle.
All right. Thank you so much, Asia. And we will be right back after the break. Hi.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm here with Vanessa from New York Goat Yoga.
Hello.
And she's here to show us a couple of poses and do goat yoga with a real goat with us. This is exciting. How long have you been doing this for?
We just started last year, June 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what led you to start this?
Well, Sharon, the owner of Gilbertsville Farmhouse, her daughters surprised her with goats, and that's how it all started. And she did a Facebook post like, are there any yoga instructors out there? And I came across it, and now we're here.
Awesome. If you want, we could get straight into some poses.
Yeah, let's definitely get into some
All right.
poses. So the poses we do are goat friendly. They're low to the ground, really good for beginners. So what we can do is we can start bringing our hands forward. Nice. And this will come around.
How early do you start the goats doing this?
She's about a month old. So they're like a month to, and they just get right into it. They're naturals. They love to climb.
And they like doing this? Like
Yeah.
they enjoy the yoga too?
They do. And then we can come back up. And let's come forward onto all fours. So this is like a classic goat yoga pose. Sometimes the goats will come jump up, sometimes they don't.
She can reach that high?
Yeah.
What?
That's crazy.
And what you can do is you can extend one leg back, keeping your toe on the ground. You can extend your right leg back. There you go. And you push the heel back gently. And switch feet, bring your other leg back.
How does having a goat around help people who are beginners?
It helps them to not take life too seriously, don't take their yoga practice too seriously. Sometimes beginners are in their head and they're like, am I doing this right? The person next to me is way more flexible, and then these goats show up and you're not thinking that anymore.
Right.
We can come back into child's pose. Olivia, maybe if you put her on one of our backs. Oh, hello.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, let's try.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Your hair.
Oh. Ooh. That tickles. Hey, Rizzo.
Careful, Rizzo.
You can give me a haircut? That's cool. Ah. Ah. Ah.
And then come forward onto all fours. Come here, Rizzo.
Oh. There's a goat.
The nibble.
On my back.
There it goes.
Ooh. It's okay, my hair is strong.
Do that, silly.
Oh my god.
What's the two spots on the top of her head?
Those are where her horns are. We debud them for everyone's safety.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was wondering.
So we can come sit crisscross.
Where do you guys usually
Relax
have like your
down.
regular classes?
We use it, we have them at Gilbertsville Farmhouse. It's a beautiful wedding venue, and it's so much fun. They have like glamping tents there. They have a hammock park.
A hammock park. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a
All the time we have tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Oval TV, and we will see you next week. Good night.